Good evening and welcome, everybody. I'm Swapnil Pathare, Senior Coordinator from the Teacher Foundation. TTF is an anchoring partner in the for the LSC India Glossary of Life Skills, a key resource developed by the Life Skills Collaborative. The Life Skills Collaborative is a team of 18 organizations across India with a strong expertise in education, skill development, health, and gender. We at LSC are celebrating February as the Glossary Month. The celebration encompasses a wide spectrum of activities. Today is the last day of the month, and what could be a better way to conclude our Glossary Month than by having a conversation with 4 senior school students, 2 each from Kamala Niketan School in Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu, and Deccan International School in Bangalore. But before I start my conversation with these young adults, I would like to set some simple ground rules for all of us so that we can get the most out of this 1 hour. Please share your thoughts, comments, and questions on chat, and you can do so throughout the conversation round. We have factored in some time for the Q&A before we close today, and our panelists will be more than happy to respond to your questions as well. We might not be able to take all your questions because of the available time. However, we will make an effort to address as many questions as possible. Also, do use headphones when you are speaking, because that will just help you to listen more clearly to what the students have to share. With that, let's dive into the conversation that we are all here for with these amazing young people. Please help me welcome and give a digital round of applause to Vishrut, Nikita, Sobika, and Chitesh to this online table for a discussion on life skills. Hi, welcome. And first of all, thank you so much for taking out the time at this spot in the year when your exam zones are going on in the midst of it. So I just want to dive into the conversation directly with you because I know that everybody is here to listen to you. And I want to start with a relatively broad question. If I say, what are some of the things that you dream to do in life, or what are your dreams? What is it that you would like? Are your thoughts on that? Maybe we can start with Sobika.
Yes, sir. I don't have big dreams. My dream is to travel around the world and meet different people, sir. I would say that dream is what path we take. Like, if you want to take, it's the what path we take, sir. Neither of the paths are right or wrong. And neither of the paths can be right or wrong, sir. It depends on how your mind works and how you face the difficulties on the path we took, sir. That's all I have to say for myself. Thanks, sir.
So your dream is to travel the world, meet different people, and learn from different cultures. Wow, that's nice. What about you, Vishrut?
Okay, so if you asked me, I'd say my dream would be to live a life where I'm successful. But successful, I do not mean that in the regular sense. To me, a successful life is a life where nothing is really compromised. Mm-hmm. Not work, not family, not friends, and definitely not my hobbies or passions. It is my personal belief that anyone who puts in all their time into some one skill or aspect of their life could become one of the best in the world at that. But I do not find that to be something that I am interested in, because there's more to my life than just my career, of course. There's so many different aspects in our lives, and all of those together are what makes us human. So, of course, as a human, I want to be an amazing scientist. I want to be a good person, and it would be great to have a loving group of friends. But what I do not want is to trade one for sacrificing everything else. Because there's just so many other things that we are part of that make me who I am. And I do not want to sacrifice one for the other. Now, I know some people will say that a life like that is kind of impossible, but to me, that's what gives it even more meaning, because it wouldn't be a dream life if I could just make it reality that easily, right? So yeah.
Okay. So Nikita, what about you?
So as a child, my parents always said that I was born for a reason and I have a purpose. Uh, I always thought they were delusional, but right now I don't think that is true at all, because I think that I am born for a reason and I dream on finding that reason, finding meaning in life, finding a purpose, and striving to find and completing that purpose. So I want to live a life where I'm constantly exploring, constantly improving, or accepting everything that life has to offer for me. I want to live a life, or I dream to live a life where I'm the best version of myself. The best version of myself, not only for myself, but for the people I'm around, for the society that I'm in, or for literally anything or anybody that I do encounter in this life. So I want to be a compassionate and empathetic and adventurous girl who truly has fun in life and isn't bounded by any norms or anything that is trying to, being imposed on me. So it's not about the titles. It's not about I want to be an engineer or anything. It's just being something that I accept myself to be, and figuring things out and just living life the way it's supposed to be lived.
Chitesh?
Yes, sir. According to me, a 16-year-old guy, what does dreams mean to me? Dreams, like, it means something which makes you happy and gives you mental peace, and it also makes you connected to a purpose. uh, According to me, life is not about finding yourself, it's all about creating yourself. And I
Mhm.
have dreams to be a professional chartered accountant, and I also have some creative hobbies which I would love to turn into realities. And I would share some of my hobbies, like I would love to sing, and I love writing for screens. And these are the things which keeps me creative throughout the process of the learning. And finally, I would describe as my dreams are the only things which define myself and my thought process.
Wow. Um, I see all of you have amazing thoughts around your own dreams. And I'm curious to know, or actually even figure out, what are the skills do you think you would require to achieve them? Because I'm assuming you have those dreams, so you want to achieve them. So that was my thought. And when you were speaking, I thought it would be a good idea to do something a little different. Maybe I can share a Mentimeter link with you. If you can feed in what, according to you, um, are some of the skills that would be required for you to achieve your dreams. Okay. And then maybe we can see what is going on. I'm just going to quickly share this with you. Okay. I have shared the link. Just give me a minute. Just quick 4 or 5 words, what come to your mind? Which are some of the skills that come to your mind that you would need to be able to achieve your dreams? Something that makes, something that you're focused on. Okay, I see we have some entries coming in. So I'm just going to share screen, and then maybe we can see what are those. Are you able to see my screen? Okay, it's visible. Great. Wow, that's quite a lot of skills. So my first question to this is, why so many skills? I mean, can't we just do with, I can understand. I mean, if you have a dream, maybe 2, 3, maybe 5, 10, why so many skills? Any one of you can answer. Go ahead.
Sir,
Yes,
may I
Sobika.
say? So I would say that we need so many skills because we cannot survive without one. The world is a big place, sir. We have a lot of opportunities, and the life will throw a lot of things at you, sir. And if we have one skill, it will probably help us with one thing, but we cannot be sure that it help us with another, sir.
Okay.
I'd have to agree with Shobika on this. It's a very simple answer. It's what we're talking about here is not some short-term goal that we aim to achieve, which will just be done with one skill. It's our dream, something that we want to do throughout our life, something that we should achieve nearing the end of our life, or which would be good if we achieved earlier, but still, it's not something that we can just learn one skill for, then use that skill till the end. We need a plethora of skills to do what we want, because what we want as a lifelong dream is probably going to be very ambitious. And a lot of ambitious things require a lot of skills to be successful.
Okay, that's great. So I know these are all skills that the four of you have typed in. How about each one of you take one skill that you have not typed in, and can we explore how that skill could contribute to your dream? Does that sound like a good idea? Yeah. Chitesh, how about we begin with you?
Yeah, sir. Like I would like to choose adaptability as the skill that I have not chosen. Adaptability, according to me, like adaptability means going to when we go towards a lot of different circumstances and we may suffer a lot of things, but you need to adapt and you need to undergo some changes within you to go ahead of all those circumstances and to reach success. And I too had a lot. I too had suffered a lot without adaptability, and that works a lot when you really want to reach success.
Okay. Have you? I mean, can you share any experience where you have seen this skill play out?
Yeah.
Why do you feel so? I mean, I'm assuming that you have come across an experience where, you felt that this was such an important skill.
Of course, yes. When I was within a different group of people where there were different people with different kinds of thoughts, especially when I went to some competitions, and I was unable to go within them. I was unable to go and share thoughts with. The thing was that we all were different. They were all same, and I was standing out of that. And I realized that I need to get changed. I need to develop some thoughts which is similar to them, and that makes me good in that kind of circumstance.
Okay. So a quick question here. This is a quick. I'm just again something that came to my mind when Chitesh, you were talking, and anybody of you can answer. Do you think adaptability means that we should change our thinking? So for yes, Sobika.
I don't think it's like we have to change our thinking, sir. It's like we have to agree. We have to agree with others what others think, and we have to agree with what others think, and to make others agree with our thoughts, sir. That's what I think it's adaptability. It's my idea, sir.
I probably beg to differ. I think what I probably understood from the entire situation was you being open to other thoughts. You're not trying to change what they're thinking, and you're not trying to completely change what you are thinking. You're just trying to understand their perspective. And if it is possible, you're trying to give your perspective to them. So it's just probably, what can I say, an amalgamation of perspectives coming together. You are being open enough to understand what is happening, and you letting them also be open enough to sharing your thoughts and views. Again, if everyone were trying to influence each other and making sure that one point is the one that's just being used around everywhere, then creativity just dies. Your entire freedom of expression dies. So I think it's the entire point of letting people have their thoughts, and if you do happen to have similar thoughts, you can bond, but giving them the space and you making the space for yourself too.
I would completely disagree with what you two said, because according to me, adaptability is quite literally changing your thinking. But I wouldn't phrase it like that. I'd rather say changing our mindset, because there are certain things that we can have while going into some new experience we can choose to, if we were to fail, then we can choose to just give up right then. Or we could, for example, try to analyze our mistakes and then grow from those. So I would say adaptability quite literally means changing your thinking in the form of changing your mindset.
Okay, let's move on. So Vishruth, which skill would you like to speak of? Well,
yeah, I would just like to speak about learning from failures once again, because
okay.
I could confidently say that not one of the 8 billion people on earth have led a life where they've not experienced failure even once, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's failed in something or the other at some point of life.
Yes.
Now, there are two things you can do about it. One, you can cry about it, give up, and never look in the general direction of that particular skill or event or whatever it may be. Or you can choose to step up to the challenge, accept the fact that you failed, and learn from that failure. Now, nothing can really go wrong if you try to learn from your failure, because you're analyzing your past mistakes, what you did good, what you did bad, and what you can do better in the future. And that's a skill that we really need in today's world, because nothing comes instantly. You need to have that perseverance to learn from your failure and move forward.
Okay. All right. What about Chitesh? What about you?
So, like, apart from adaptability, I would say like social awareness and decision making are also too important. Especially when you need to choose the right decisions at the right time, you need to think properly. You need to think properly with patience, and only then you can take the right decision at the right time.
Nikita, what about you? What are your thoughts? Which skill did you kind of not type in?
The one right in the middle, patience. I completely lack patience in every way whatsoever. And it is probably going to be very difficult for me if I don't, cultivate the habit of being patient. I find it extremely hard and to be patient. And it's a thing that I'm not very proud of. When something doesn't go my way, I just let it go. I don't even try to, put the extra effort or go the extra mile of making sure. I just lose the patience and I'm like, okay, let's go to the next thing. And that is something that I really want to work on, because let's be honest, in the future, I don't think everyone is going to agree to my point of view. Not everyone is going to listen to me. So I need to be patient enough to explain my point of view, be patient enough to listen to what they have to say. Only then I think I'll be able to convey what my thoughts, my ideologies are in the best way possible. So I think patience is a skill set that I really, really need to work on and I need to develop.
Okay. So, Vika, what about you? Which skill did you not type in, but you feel that it's very important for your dream?
I think I will go with open-mindedness, sir. I mean, I'm quite a shy type. I'm always embrace to share my ideas with others. Like I keep my ideas to myself, and I won't share it with others, sir. Well, I mean, if I'm open-minded, then I will be able to share my ideas with others, whether I get positive feedbacks or negative feedbacks. I think, and it shouldn't matter to me. It should help me change. Like for example, if my idea wasn't right, then I can change it to something different, which will make different people agree with me. I think that's what I need for myself.
Thank you for sharing. But when all of you were speaking, there was one particular skill, on that you all have mentioned in this cloud, which kind of has caught my eye, and that is tolerance of ambiguity. What do you think would, I mean, I was just writing down here, how do you understand that, and why tolerance of ambiguity?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So a little bit of history. Humans by nature are curious people. That's how we discovered fire. We invented a lot of things. But at the same time, we are so shy and we shun away from change, from something new, something that we don't know what clearly it is. And that is fascinating, because when, again, we're so, we have an inhibition to change when we don't know the entire concept. We know that we're not able to understand the entire concept, or it's different from our point of view. Only then this arises. When everything is going our way, we're fine. We're completely okay. But when we're given a different thought, a different view, then we're just like, I don't agree with this. Maybe this is not what it is supposed to be. So inhibition to change is such a huge thing, because it's a transition of ideologies that have been passed from generations, ideologies and mentality that, have been fed to us for years. And for just a second, when someone tells, you know what, the way you're thinking, the way your brain is wired, it's everything's wrong. You've got to think in another way. So you're just like, why should I do that? Maybe that is wrong. So the reason that I put it there was because I have personally come to a stage, because again, I'm a young adult. I've been, given so many points of views, so many opinions. And at one point, you're just amidst a lot of points of views and you don't know which one to pick. And I find myself in that position every day, when you have to make a choice, when you have to decide who you actually are. So there's a lot of times when I myself am pretty confused and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So that was one of the reasons why I had put, that I was ambiguous about, change, and I have an inhibition towards change.
Vishnu, you were going to say something.
Right. So I'll keep my answer pretty short and simple. The reason you need to have a tolerance to ambiguity is because the world's a pretty big place. If you can house 8 billion people, then, every one of these 8 billion people are going to have a different thing to share. And I'm sure, like, even at the age of 100, no one can confidently say that they've been through everything. At every point in life, you'll be going through something new. And if you're scared of that unfamiliarity, then you're not going to do well, because fear leads to a lot of bad things, if I could put it simply, right? So you need to learn to be resistant towards that ambiguity.
Okay, great. And my last question, I'm going to come back to Sobika. You spoke of open-mindedness and you shared your thoughts around that. I want to understand, how do you feel we can develop open-mindedness? Maybe I can close this.
To naturally come at us with the experience.
Okay. Can you share any of your experience where you have felt or where you've used? Or somebody?
So, sir, I have a friend who is pretty much shy like me. She does not like to share her ideas with the others, sir. So we were like in a group project. Me, my friend, and some other people of my class. So she's very good at giving ideas, but she's very scared to share it at the same time. So what we did was we asked her to write her ideas in a notebook. Then we asked her to read it, sir, but she was still shy about it. We asked her to close her eyes. No, sir. We asked her to. We all turned back from her side. Then we asked her to read it. And when she read her ideas were extremely good, sir. I think she was able to share her ideas with others with us. That's why I meant, sir.
Okay. What about others? What do you think? How can we develop some of the skills that you have written? That were important for you to achieve your dreams. How can we develop those skills? Maybe we can start with Chitesh this time also. Continue actually. Sobika has already begun.
Yeah, yes, sir. Like, according to me, developing the skills is the $1,000,000 question, and the way of doing it is the $1,000,000 question. Okay. And my ideology is like inspiration is the first step towards something. And my best ideology is learning from those failures with the determination to achieve success. And I would like to share one of my experience about succeeding with my hobby. I was a guy with interest in writing for screens and creative writing. But the thing was, I didn't have enough opportunities of learning more about it. I
Hmm.
had skipped a lot of people, but still I was unable to learn. But the only thing I did was I waited until the right time came. I was given an opportunity by my school to make a short film with just four smartphones and just four characters. It was a simple script, just filmed within a day, but it was liked by most of the people, and that is when I tasted success. And I would also suggest like doing the SWOT analysis of yourself, which consists of analyzing your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Within your skills, just get a pen and paper, list all of those, and when you just go through it twice or thrice, you will get a clarity about your path. You will get a good way of developing your skills. That is what I would say.
Nikita, what about you? What do you think? How can we best develop?
The best example is like right now, I'm meeting two different people, Chitesh and Sobika, from a different school. I've never met them before in my life. I know what their point of views are. I know what their opinions are. And right now, when I'm communicating, when I'm listening to them, various life skills are just being developed in this very second. Communication, listening, patience, the things that I didn't have back then. All of them are just being done right now. So I think one of the best ways is meeting people and just trying to not always be in your comfort zone. Trying to just, take a little step to just go outside and come back. There's no issue in coming back to your comfort zone. So taking that step to go outside, exploring, coming back with results and, introspecting and figuring out what happened. Why did it happen this way? And trying to, inculcate it in your daily behavior. Anything, skills, again, no matter anything like maths. If you do it on a daily basis, you're going to master it. So same thing with life skills. You do it on a daily basis, you will master it. So by stimulating yourself and encouraging yourself to do it, these little skills on a daily basis will help you develop them in a long time. And another one is reading. The best way that you can get it is by reading about what other people have gone through and writing what you have gone through, because in the future you will refer back to what you have written yourself. So these are ways that you can develop all of these skills.
Vishnu?
So I'd like to preface my answer by saying that I do not have any sort of end all be all solution to developing skills. I do not think there is such a solution, because I feel like different skills require a different method to develop them. So I feel like this would be most productive if I just talked about how to develop creative thinking, because creative thinking, according to me, is the most important skill of all the things that were mentioned. So we just talked about tolerance to ambiguity, right? So one thing is you can be tolerant to ambiguity, but that does not change the fact that you're still in a completely different situation. So how are you going to excel in it? You do that by using your brain, by using all your creative resources in a manner such that you excel in whatever situation you're put in, right? So if you ask me how I would best develop creativity and creative thinking, it is to just impose this one rule on yourself and follow that in all circumstances. The rule is to always try and find a way to excel in whatever situation you're in, even if it seems impossible, and especially when it seems impossible. By following this condition, what we are essentially doing is training our brains to not shy away from problems, and instead tackling them head on and solving them. According to me, creative thinking is just like any other skill. It's something that we can train. And by directly confronting our problems, that is exactly what we're doing. We're training our brain to solve problems in unexpected but very efficient ways.
Great, that's nice. So you all spoke about and thank you for your points and how we can develop some of these skills. My question was also that what kind of a teacher, if you had, or I would rather say what kind of a teacher would help you develop such skills?
Could I start?
Yeah,
Go
please
for
go
it,
ahead. Because all of us, it may be at your age or my age, it's always helpful to have somebody who can help me learn. And so what kind of, a teacher would it be? Yes, Vishnu, go ahead.
So I'd say this is not just related to creative thinking, but also just all the other skills mentioned. A teacher that would keep on challenging me to grow as a person, because to grow is essentially to develop new skills, right? And that's what we want, to develop new skills. So if a teacher recognized some sort of potential in me, if he or she looked at me and said, this boy could possibly be good in terms of communication, and gave me a chance to be in something like a leader or something like a narrator, I would be at that point forced to develop that sort of skill, right? Because that I need that to survive in whatever in that situation that I put in. So a teacher who can really not force me, but push me gently to do things out of my just outside of my comfort zone, so it's not too harsh, but at the same time not too hard. A teacher like that would, according to me, be the best sort of teacher to help me develop these kind of skills.
Okay, thank you. So Becca, what about you?
Sir, I think I'm going to go with the same point that Vishnu said. I think the teacher that will help, the type of teacher who would help us to develop these skills is the one who urges us to grow our skills. For example, I have had a lot of teachers like that who would, like, for example, if I get for 60 out of 70 in some exam, and then I would go and ask her, like, why did you not give me marks like that? Then she would say that you had written well, but you need to try harder. That's what she would say. They would say. So I would guess that the teachers who would keep on helping us to take the step forward will develop these skills.
Okay. Chitesh, what about you?
Yes, sir. Like according to me, a good teacher is one who always encourages and allows a lot of creative things within us, who motivates us, and she also encourages us. And according to me, the best teacher for anyone is their life. Their own life is the best teacher, because in real life, all teachers just teach lessons and then make tests. But life is the only teacher which tests you by taking lessons. And as Vishnu said, I would accept that I need to be pushed gently by someone to accept the truth and to move ahead to the next dimension. And I believe life is the best thing to do that.
Nikita?
I believe that a teacher who believes completely in freedom as in, I mean, allowing a child to be what they naturally are. But at the same time, encouraging them to explore. A lot of times we encounter this entire scenario where we're supposed to make safe bets. I'm really bad at math. So what a normal teacher would probably do is, Nikita, just somehow study these chapters, you will score a 25, you'll pass. But luckily, I haven't had any teacher who's like that. All of the teachers are like, study as much as you like, study as much as you can, and go and have fun in that paper. I'm currently giving my board exams, and believe it or not, every single teacher of mine has said, Nikita, I know if I ask you to study this much, you will not do it. So I want you to study chapters you actually enjoy studying, go to the exam hall, write the paper to the best possible way you can, and have fun writing the paper. And I have done it. If my parents do happen to be here, I don't know what the answer will be, but it is fine. The thing is, a teacher who knows who you are, a teacher who identifies who you are and knows what your strengths are and makes you hone and, build upon those strengths. Again, like I said before, rote learning isn't my thing at all. I believe in talking. I believe in cracking jokes. I believe in learning through anything that isn't involving a textbook. And somehow the teachers have molded themselves into teaching me in various methods that help me understand a concept better. So first thing is to just giving me the freedom to be who I am and helping me figure out how I can improve myself. And another way is to constantly, like how everyone just said right now, putting me in places where I have to use various other skills. Not a fan of math, but I still wrote the math exam. Not a fan of doing a lot of things, but even then the teachers give you like a gentle push and make you, try things that you haven't done before.
Okay, great. So these are a lot of those aspects that are that would help you and support you to develop these skills that that are important, that you feel are important for you to achieve your dreams. What about some barriers? Do you think what could be some, or what do you think are some barriers that could possibly slow you down? Nikita, maybe we can begin with you as the next step.
My pleasure. So one of the biggest barriers that I think I have faced personally is how the Gen Z right now, or I'm part of the Gen Z, and how my outlook, my perspective is so different. It is completely different. Of course, I'm a neophyte in a lot of things, and there are teachers who are professionals. They know, they've mastered the concept. So there lies, how do I explain this? An element of where our ideologies don't match. There's a communication barrier. We don't know how to communicate, or effectively communicate. And we have an inhibition to change. Well, so do them, like everyone, in the matter of fact. We are so, again, we lack the patience. We don't know how to understand what they're saying. There's just lack of communication. So one of them is just inhibition to change and having the patience to understand what the other person's trying to say. Second one is the lack of concrete material. Everything is changing and every second. So we don't know how anything will result in. So there's not enough concrete material that teachers or anyone can use to, prove a certain fact. It's all about, their past experiences, and maybe sometimes it's not credible at all. So that is one of the barriers.
Okay. Who would like to go next?
I'd go. So according to me, so let me just put it this way. All of us just now were talking about how tolerance to ambiguity is, a very important thing. And how if we had a teacher who would gently push us, we'd learn a lot. We'd grow a lot of new life skills. So, in correspondence to that, I feel like the biggest barrier, especially one that you can impose on yourself towards not learning any of these skills, is excessively relying on someone else. And I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory, because if you let someone else take up all your responsibilities, pay for your food, your housing, everything, then you are never going to learn how to do that, right? If I were to give you an analogy, why would a man who has a lifetime supply of fish ever learn how to fish? He wouldn't, right? But of course, that's just an analogy. Real life isn't like that, right? No one has a lifetime supply of fish. At some point, you have to learn to fish. And if you don't know how to fish, that's the end, right? And that won't exactly be a good situation. So yeah, excessive reliance on others is, according to me, the biggest barrier to developing new skills.
Okay. But just a quick question. When you're talking about excessive reliance, or that means you're saying that we shouldn't be dependent on others?
Right. As I said, excessive dependence on others. So, of course, there's a fine line between depending on others for your own mental sanity and depending on others to essentially leech off them. What this means is like, you're
differentiating between dependence and support.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Dependence and support. Support is something that others offer voluntarily. Dependence is something that you should, at some point of life, excess dependence is something that, like, at that point of life, you should already have that skill, but you choose not to develop it because someone else is already doing that for you.
Okay. Chitesh, what about you? What do you think are some of the barriers?
Yes, sir. And according to me, in today's world, firstly, we are the barriers for ourselves, and no one else. We are the barriers for ourselves. Like, I lose hope in myself whenever fear builds in myself. I can just go ahead with my experience. I think that commerce students know the fear of accountancy, and especially on the day before exam, the thing is that I would lose my hope towards how will I pass the exam. I just overthink the concept, and that makes fear just builds in me, and I even lost in some of the competitions just because of stage fear. And now, before coming to this webinar, I was just a bit, I was with fear. But the way you approached me and the way you got the points from me, that was how I overcome the fear. Uh, I want to just say that the fear of failure just kills the spirit of willingness and lose the hope in ourselves. Yes, we should not care that who is doing better than us. It's we. It's we are doing better than earlier. It's you versus yourself, and that is what I want to say.
Okay. So, Becca?
Yes, sir. What I would say is that, as Sitish has said, that we are the barriers for for developing our skills. I will come to that point also. But our barriers are our own feelings and thoughts. We would have self doubts, and these self doubts would not help us to move forward. We would have feelings like jealousy, rage, and with this, we won't be able to do anything. We'll be just confused. It will drive us mad, and then finally, we won't be able to do anything. Just things like that, sir.
A quick thought, and when all of you were talking, we are in a world where technology has grown to quite an extent. We have AI, we have that chat GPT that's come up. Right? You kind of just put a question and it'll kind of go through a lot of information and give you an answer. What do you think about life skills in this context, and in this, how important life skills are going to be when we are talking about technology kind of, growing to such a point? Anybody can answer. This is just an open question.
I would like to take this question. So here's the thing. From what I've seen, especially on social media, there's been a lot of thoughts about how with AI or technology being developed to such a great extent, they'd essentially be replacing humans and taking over our jobs, doing all of that. That, in my opinion, is a rather negative view. How I choose to view it, it's more like, now that I do not have to learn these set of skills that would have helped me get a job, I can now focus on all these other set of skills, which is something that I actually want to do. That's something that can also relate to my personal life or to any of my hobbies, right? These AI or these robots or this sort of technology, we should view it as something that's assistance towards us. And that's the original goal of all technology, to help out humans, right? Yeah.
Okay. Anybody wants to add?
Continue with what Vishnu said. With the advance of technology, I think right now we need to give the utmost importance to life skills, because everything is going to be replaced with machines. It's a sad reality, but it is true. It is going to happen, which creates that one barrier, technological barrier, where everything is just going to be technology, and people communicating is going to be replaced. Right? Even now, I text someone and the person on the opposite screen doesn't know if I'm actually happy. What is my tone? What am I trying to say, in fact? Which is sad. And the only way that it can be covered is through me putting extra effort and actually calling the person, making him or her hear my voice or something like that. So life skills is so important right now, because it only facilitates the technological part. Even if the technological part advances to an extent where humans aren't even dependent on other humans anymore, then I don't think that anything would work out, because it's in the name, life skills. To lead a life, you need these skills, and technology cannot replace that. Same thing with, you mentioned chat GPT. If I type in chat GPT right now, for example, that my mother isn't well, Okay, she's sick, she's not fine. Chat GPT is going to ask me to go to the hospital, give her this medicine, give her that medicine. But what it doesn't say is what my mother is actually feeling. And only life skills can bridge that gap between what me and my mother have, or any family member. It's just an example. So right now, with the advance of technology, life skills plays the most important role, hands down.
Great. And I just want to, I think all of you have shared such amazing points. Thank you for, because, the idea was to have a conversation with you. So I want to also ask you, do you have any questions for me? Maybe we can, if you want to.
I do.
Okay, Nikita, go ahead.
Let's not to insult anyone, but we know that there's clearly an age gap.
Yes.
Swapnil, so you do look very young, I must tell you that. But there is an age gap. And what my question is that at your age, do you still think that life skill plays an important role? Because come on, we're youngsters, and again, we're so engrossed in technology, and your perspective and your ideologies are totally different to what our perspectives and our ideologies are. So do you think that life skills plays an important role even at that stage of your life? And if it does, do you think that in the future it does stop? That is, do you think you will stop learning life skills at one point of time or a certain point of time?
Okay, how do I put this? I think I won't say that life skills are more important than what they were, but I would rather say they are as important as what they were when I was in school. But I think the life skills which were important to me, or were I would say what I would give priority to, have changed. More priority. Like I remember when I was in school, I used to always be given the monitor's duty, okay, and basically all the work that had to involve of going and directly talking to teachers, because nobody wanted to do it. So I was there always, and my goal was very simple. I wanted to get out of school as early as possible and run back home. So that time the skills I needed were collaboration. I needed, because I knew that if I wanted to complete this work, I can't do it alone. I needed skills like of communication, because I needed skills of negotiation, though I would say that I was not as clear about that I was using these things then, because I had to speak to my teachers, maybe sometimes, figure out a way to get them to reduce my work a little bit. Today, when I see my role has changed, the context has changed, the environment has changed. And today, the skills that are important to me or are of priority is leadership, delayed gratification, negotiation still, self-compassion. And because I work with a team, and so it's just, I feel the priority has changed. And what I believe is, I think it will even change in the future. Like what we have all seen, and I think every generation experiences that, when we are young versus when we are at different spots in our life, you see the world changing, right? So obviously with the environment change, your priorities change. So I think even in the future, 10 years down the line, the plans that I focus on, I know that what skills I will need that time are different. But I think life skills are going to be something that I will need to continuously work on. So even communication, indirectly, I was using communication then that I'm using today. But I think today also I need to learn how to, keep on working on it. It can't be like, okay, I've worked on communication, chalo ho gaya, khatam ho gaya. Abhi band kar dete, wapas jaane ki zarurat nahi hai. That cannot happen. So that is the way I look at it. And that has been, from my experience, this is what I'm feeling right now.
So would you say that like developing life skills is like a lifelong journey?
Definitely. I think it is a part of a lifelong journey. And because I think, because as I said, your priorities are going to change across your life. And finally, coming back to the first question that all of us started with, what is your dream? Finally, all of us dream about doing things that make us happy. Your definitions will change of happiness as you go along. So I think life skills is something that you should keep going back to. And I think one thing that all of you have only spoken about is it's okay to make mistakes. There's nothing perfect about it, you know. So because I'm going back and learning how to negotiate better today doesn't mean I was bad at negotiation. I just need to learn how to reconnect with it. That's my thought. So thank you so much. One thing I'm going to do is definitely, as we had said at the start, that we have factored in some time for Q&A. So I'm just going to request my colleagues and the backend team, do we have any questions? If you can quickly share them with me, so we can share it with our panelists. Okay, I don't see any major questions here. I think everybody is busy thinking about all the different points that all of you have shared. So thank you so much, Chitesh, Nikita, Sobika, and Vishrut for your time and thoughts. Thank you, and I'm really grateful that you could make the time to come here. Thank you for also to your schools and your parents for making it possible, because considering at what time we are in the academic year with your exam zones, and with Nikita you have your board exams going, but great, thank you so much. And yeah, we can stop our conversation table for the day. Yeah, so
thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
Thank you
so
so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, everyone. I think we've had an amazing time listening to these young minds. And with this, we come to an end of our conversation segment. I would like to now invite Mr. Arjun Bahadur, the lead of the Life Skills Collaborative, to close the session and the Glossary Month. Over to you, Arjun.
Right, thanks, Swapnil. I'm unable to switch on my camera. It's not enabled. But honestly speaking, at this point, I'm even scared a little bit to switch on my camera, given that you were called out as old. It might be best that I remain not seen. But I have to take the opportunity to thank Vishrut, Shobika, Chitesh, and Nikita. It's been amazing listening to the four of you. And I know that one of the things that wasn't called out as a skill during this process, but I think one that you all have displayed an immense amount of is courage. And given that I understand some of you are having board exams as well, you certainly have a lot more courage than I do at this point in time. And given my daughter is also appearing for her 12th boards, I can imagine the stress levels that can possibly be there. So definitely appreciate your making the time. And it was wonderful to listen to the four of you. I wish I had that kind of confidence when I was your age. And no, please don't try and guess. But thank you all for sharing, and all the skills you spoke about: adaptability, perseverance, open-mindedness. The Life Skills Collaborative has come up with a glossary of life skills, and we've identified 52 skills. So to your question on, is it lifelong learning? Learning to learn is a life skill. And yes, this whole process is not going to end. And I think one of the skills that you learn over a period of time is to continue to learn new things and evolve. So I don't think the skills have changed. I think the environment has certainly changed a little bit. The application of these skills have probably changed a little bit. And during the course of your life, you will prioritize different skills at different points in time. And I don't think any of us can learn all 52 skills to the level that we would want to or hope. So yes, it's a lifelong process. But yeah, I'm also closing the Glossary Month today. And what started last year as an experiment was, we've come out with this fantastic glossary. We've come up with 52 life skills that people should know about. And it is an attempt to standardize the definitions of life skills. So for example, if you are studying it, currently it's complicated, right? Is it life skills, social emotional skills, higher order thinking skills, core skills, 21st century skills? There's so many different names. Are we talking about the same thing or are we not talking about the same thing? So we wanted to come up with something that could standardize this vocabulary for us so that we can all speak the same language. Otherwise, if I ask all four of you to define critical thinking, you will give me 4 different definitions, none of which are wrong, but how do you then go about trying to standardize that? And how do I know whether I'm learning the right thing or not learning the right thing? So think of the glossary as a dictionary. Right? It's when you don't understand a life skill or you want to know more about a life skill, you go to the glossary and you learn it. And we felt it's such a powerful tool that we want to tell more and more people about. And last year, the whole concept of February as the Life Skills Collaborative's Glossary Month started. And we felt it is, it's something that we can curate conversations, curate awareness. And so we had lots of activities, lots of games, and we thought this should probably become an ongoing process. And today is the end of our second Glossary Month. And it's really cool that, and I'm trying to use fancy words that you might understand. So really cool that the 4 of you actually joined us. But thank you again. And thank you, Maya and Swapnil and Monila and Akhila, who've been the Teacher Foundation team that's been anchoring the glossary for us and is been working on making it richer and better. So it's a live document. We'll continue to evolve it. We'll encourage you to share it with your friends. Let your teachers know that something like this exists and that they will also find it useful. But that's all I would like to add from the Life Skills Collaborative team. We are a team of 18 organizations. We're working with 4 different states, and we're trying to make life skills the center of education, all education that happens in India. Thank you all for joining. Thanks, Swapnil, for hosting.